So you just uploaded your artwork on the socials and you didn't receive any like or reply, and you feel very bad about it. You ask yourself what you did wrong and what you can improve on yourself. So this video is all about why your environment works are not working and how to fix it. So first of all, it really depends on what kind of platform you post your artwork. For example, if you use X, there's a different audience than, for example, ArtStation. Because ArtStation is art-minded. If you put something there, there is an audience that loves art and they will judge on what they see, not on what is trending. So I can really recommend, if you've got your artwork and you want to know if it's good or not, post it on ArtStation. That's something very important. Do you really love the work you're doing? So if you're just doing it for fun, you create something and you're putting this on ArtStation, there is a large chance it won't get picked up. And it sounds a little weird doing it for fun, but there are plenty of people who like to work with 3D. They make a scene and they think, hey, I'm going to share this, because they spend some time on it and they feel like, well, people are going to enjoy this. But you didn't really start with love and passion, and this is key for artworks to get attention by other people, because they will feel your love and passion you put in your artwork. So before you even start, look at your passion. What do you really love? What do you like? Then you start, and if you're finished, then you can post it. So let's say you have a lot of passion, motivation, and you are ready for this work. Here's another point where you need to take care of before you even get started, and this is make a plan. So what I normally do is I work 3 weeks on this new design, and in the first week I start collecting reference, making some photo scan, and I make a rough block out. In the second week I spend time on my buildings and putting it all together. In the third week I do the trees and the vegetation, atmosphere, and then it's done. And there needs to be an endpoint, because otherwise I will spend endless time and there is no point of review for me to show it to the public and they can just fire on me if they like it or not, so I can continue on another work. This is the whole process. If you never show it to the public and you think it's never finished, it's not good. So make a plan and show it to the world. So you have your passion, you know how much time you're going to spend on your artwork. But here's another thing you really need to take care of when you start working on an artwork. And this is you're Mr. Perfect. Everything needs to be perfect. So for example, when you work on a building, it's your little baby and you have maybe a reference that looks really good and it needs to be as good as the reference, and I'm going to tell you, it's not going to happen. Well, maybe sometimes, but you have a learning curve, and give yourself some space to say, this is what it is, and move to the next one, because in another artwork, I will make it better. This is your growing curve. So my advice is, don't be Mr. Perfect. It's a good mindset. I'm very perfectionist in my work, but I also give myself this freedom, like I have 3 weeks and in this time period, I have to finish it. And I can't if I'm Mr. Perfect. So give yourself some time and move to other objects. So speaking of being Mr. Perfect, there is the art of imperfections in your artwork. And this is important because when I started making environment designs, my scenes were so clean. The streets were clean, the buildings were clean. There was no dirt, there was no trash. And after watching or reading a lot of art books, references, and just going into the streets and looking at real streets, I started that things are imperfect, that there is a lot of trash, that buildings have this natural look of broken bricks. So this is important when you work on your environment design. It doesn't need to be clean, it doesn't need to be perfect. Start playing with make things dirty and putting the imperfections in the scene. This is what the audience loves to see. And then I arrive at a point where a lot of people go wrong. And I have to say, including me, because when I started making designs, I wanted to copy the work from others because I loved it so much. and I didn't look what I really wanted to make. I had this passion, a love for environment scenes, but I was so focused on the work of others that I tried to recreate that. And in fact, it's not wrong doing that. But during the development period, it's very important that you're starting to create the style that fits yourself very well. So I slowly moved to environment designs that I really liked, and of course, I still use references and other people's for inspiration, but I'm not trying to copy this because I can never be a better copy than the one that is the original creator. So think about this point. Try to be unique in the work you do. And that brings me to the final point, and this is storytelling. So when you work on an environment and you haven't spent any time on storytelling in your scene, the audience won't like it because they're looking for something that's happening in the scene. It can be a little story, can be something else, but without having any story, the audience is bored. And you want to entertain the viewer. You want them to watch your environment and something needs to be happen. I mean, you can have a lot of buildings, you can spend a lot of time on vegetation, trees, and the atmosphere is looking cool. If there's nothing happening, the audience is bored. So think about it. Add some little thing of story in your scene. It can be a small thing, but people will love that. So think about this point when working on an environment. And that's it. That's my final point for this video. I hope you liked it, and see you in another video.